We'll start this by pointing out this was my now late grandfather's story, and furthermore was only told to me after he died some 18 years ago by my father. My grandfather's whole working life was dedicated to engineering. Until retirement, he worked as an engineer at the Doncaster plant works, building maintaining trains, working on steam, and then later diesel and electric trains, and was the type of person who picked up many tricks over the years that the newer workers didn't know, so was often called in to help with tricky jobs well after retirement. But before he got the job at the plant works, he was a sailor in the British Navy, serving as an engineer on ships, and was on active service in the back end of the Second World War. As the war came to an end, his boat was ordered to head to Bombay, now known as Mumbai, in India. For what I'm not sure, as my dad didn't know, but they were to stay in Bombay for a week and then move on to the next destination. When the orders were given for them to head to Bombay, the crew were reminded that they must keep strict observance of all local customs while there. Not a problem, they would mostly be busy with working on the ship anyway, and had plenty of things on board to entertain them during downtime. They were also told that they had to stick to the timetable for departure, as they had to be in the next port for a specific date. Again, not sure why, because dad didn't know, but the time frame issue is important. As the week in Bombay was approaching its end, they began to prepare for departure, but the evening before they were due to set sail, a cow of all animals wandered up the walkway onto the deck of the boat. Now, in India, as it's pretty much common knowledge, the cow is seen as a sacred creature, and as a result, the crew couldn't just shift it. The locals wouldn't move it, and nobody made claim to own the thing, so the crew were stuck in regards to what the hell they should do. They could just remove the thing, drag it back down the gangplank to the dock, and send it off on its merry way, and with their schedule demanding they leave the following morning, they needed it gone before they were due to sail. Unfortunately, they were all given orders before arriving in Bombay from command to make sure they strictly observed all local customs, so had to wait until the damn cow removed itself from the boat. They were 2 days late leaving port because the cow wouldn't move, and only decided to do so when it was bread hungry, whatever reason a cow has for doing anything. When they finally arrived at the next destination, the captain of my grandfather's boat had to explain why the hell they were 2 days late. My grandfather was told afterwards that the captain simply told them that they were told to respect local customs and as such, couldn't touch the cow. They would rather be late to their next destination than disobey a direct order, even if command was severely angry with the late arrival. Not the most amazing of stories I know, but whenever I see a cow in a field now, I think of this story. It's my favorite story about my dearly departed grandfather, and it gives me a chuckle every time I tell it, so figured I would share the story of how a cow forced the entire crew of a Royal Navy vessel to maliciously comply with a direct order. Hope you get a kick out of this too. So, this is a story that my grandma told me about my late uncle. Quick context, the school I went to was very small, and classes would take turns on certain fundraising activities to keep things fair and give everyone a chance to earn money as a class. One of these was running the concession stand at football and basketball games. The class running the concessions would get a portion of the profits. When my uncle was in high school, he was manning the concession stands with another classmate and my grandmother as the supervising adult. A man walked up to the counter and slammed his hand down, looking annoyed. "I need one popcorn." My uncle, being a generally easygoing guy, answered the man with a nod and asked, "Just one popcorn?" The man, "Yes, that's what I said, one popcorn." My uncle, "Alright, if you insist." He turns back to the popcorn machine and pulls out a single piece of popcorn, then turns back to the man and sets it on the counter in front of him. "There you go, sir. One popcorn." The man stared at the piece of popcorn for a few seconds and then just started laughing his rear off. Everyone else chuckled as well, and my uncle then got him his actual bag of popcorn. Not quite as malicious as some of the other stories, but I thought it was cute and technically fit here. With all these malicious compliance memory stories going around, I thought I'd contribute. Enter the way back machine. It's around 1987. I'm watching cartoons and my dad marches up to the wooden TV and turns the dial click to the football game. Then he goes back to his chair and begins to watch it. A commercial comes on, and he gets up to get a beer. Click click, I've changed it back to cartoons. He isn't watching it. Hell, he isn't even in the room. He comes back and mumbles, and click click, it's back to the game. Another commercial comes on, and he goes to use the restroom. Click click. He walks back in, click click, and it's back on the game. He says, if you put your little hand on that television. He never says TV, has old school. Again, you are going straight to your room. Another commercial comes on, and I scoot over to the TV, look him dead in the eye, put my foot on the dial, and click click. My dad looked at me and just said touch. PS. My dad is king of malicious compliance. Info. Health insurance here in a nutshell. Adults, 18 plus, pay, children don't. Children on the insurance policy with multiple adults get a free copy of the best insured adults insurance. Mandatory basic insurance. Additional extra insurance is not mandatory. I used to work a health insurance company for a while at the customer service branch, Europe. And one of my tasks was to sign people up for new insurances, or change their existing insurance. No biggie. There was no commission involved or anything. We just got paid hourly, so it didn't matter if I signed you up for the El Extremo package or the simplest El Cheapo. Company just wanted us to sign people up for what suited them best. I'll post another MC about this later. Anyway, here you have two types of health insurance, a standard mandatory one and the extra one. The mandatory one covers GP, medicine, hospital etc, emergency care mostly. The extra one covers dental, 18 plus, physical therapy, glasses, some alternative stuff, homeopathy, and acupuncture, and other stuff like braces, 18 and 18 plus, and maternity care. Now we had a package called Family Package, which covered braces for kids and all kinds of stuff regarding pregnancy and postnatal care that was not complete in the basic one. This was also the most expensive because it catered to both the adult that signed up for the package and the children on the insurance. This package was only useful in two situations. 1. You are pregnant and want all costs covered. 2. You have kids, 18 with braces. We did not have a selection or anything, so anyone could just sign up and use the cover for braces. Other insurance companies had a 2-year wait or refused you. People often assumed the family name meant that the entire family, mom plus dad plus kids, all had to have the same package. This is not the case. Usually the advice would be which of the two adults needs the additional stuff the most. He or she will use the family package and the kids benefit. The other parent takes the cheaper package. On to the situation. Customer calls and wants family package for his entire fam. He, wife, 18 plus kid, 18. Kid #1 and #2. Me, goes through the spiel of explaining that not everybody needs this package, and it will cost him a lot more to sign up 3 adults for the entire year than just one, and have the other 2 choosing better suited packages. Did an intake and 18 plus kid did not need anything. Customer, no, I want my family to be insured exactly the same, so that there is no difference between us. Me, that not really necessary, because not everyone has the same illnesses etc. And it will cost you. Customer, I want it done like this, or we are switing. Me, okay, have it your way. Customer's monthly bill ran somewhere in the 500s, whilst he could have chosen something much less at around 300 to 400. Someone else posted a story which reminded me of a bit of MC in my life. So there I was, a recent high school graduate, living with one of my friends. Very first apartment and all that. Needless to say, we kinda screwed up. Eventually got evicted for non-payment. Partly my fault, my job was crap, and fell through after a few months. Mostly his fault. His plan to pay his share involved a get-rich-quick scheme that fell apart almost immediately, but which he tried to keep going. As a result, I was homeless for a while, living in shelters, while he just moved back in with his folks. But he still owed me 3 months of rent. Money I could use, especially since I'd lost the job. We'd worked out a payment plan, which he screwed up as well, dragging his feet every step of the way. After about a year of badgering and paying a few bucks here and there, he promised to pay me the remaining $40 at Christmas. Was a pretty bleak time for me, being homeless on Christmas, but my friends were getting together for a nice party. The idea of warm food and friends was a welcome distraction, especially with the promise of $40 to come. I figured I would see a card with a couple Jacksons tucked in. Nope. Sitting under the tree was a showbox. It was heavy. Really heavy. The bastard had gone to great lengths to get 4,000 pennies. Loose, unwrapped pennies. Now, here is where the aforementioned homelessness comes into play. I was staying at a shelter, but having to lug around a big box of pennies was going to be difficult. And it was the weekend, so I would need to wait until Monday for the banks. Fortunately, I realized that someone else would have a bulk coin counter. I lugged the box on over to the local video game arcade. Hey, weird question. You guys have a coin counter, right? Can it be set to count pennies? Think so. Why? Opens the box. I need a small favor. So about 10 minutes later, I walked out with a couple of 20s and hit up the local cheap Chinese place for lunch. Teal dear, $40 in pennies weighs a lot. Thank you for watching. Slap that like button and comment your opinion on these stories below. I'm waiting. Write that comment. Seriously. Have you written it yet? If you don't comment, you make a bunny cry somewhere. You're not that kind of person. I know. Anyways, peace out and catch you tomorrow.